Let me just quickly go across to Akshit Gupta, my colleague, who's been posted outside of the Silkiara tunnel for the better part of this ordeal. Akshit, coming back to you, we lost you there in the middle. What update that you have for us? I can see commotion once again. The ambulances are getting closer to the mouth of the tunnel. What more can you tell us? Have you tried speaking to any of the officials around you and, getting some assessment as to what kind of timelines are we looking at? Because everyone knows, especially those workers who've been trapped for 17 days, that the last few hours, Akshit, are going to be the longest ones.
Getting some good news and the bad news.
Well, yes, it's the last leg of the operation, the rescue operation. And of course, they can be out anytime soon. If we just try to show you with the help of visuals also, then of course there you can see a lot of medical personnel standing there on ground. The officials have also said that it's the last leg. So of course, they are keeping everything in mind, the risk factors also associated with it, because they also know that the workers have been inside the tunnel. They have been trapped inside the tunnel for the last 17 days. So it has definitely been one of the most daunting rescue operations which they have carried. So of course, they are keeping everything in mind and taking step by step to rescue the 41 stranded workers. And if I may also tell you that how they will be rescued. So, the NDRF team will go inside the tunnel, the 800 mild steel pipes. There, of course, you can see some visuals. And they will go inside the 800 mild steel pipes. And then they will rescue the 41 stranded workers one by one. They have also put in a stretcher with the wheels. And then they will be pulling them out from the spot where they have been trapped for almost 17 days now. But yes, they have got that major breakthrough today. Of course, CM Dhami took stock of the situation. General VK Singh was just here taking stock of the situation. He also offered prayers for the safety and the well-being of the workers. So all the ambulances have been stationed here right at the site of the tunnel. 41 ambulances, one for each worker. And as soon as they get out, they will be a short medical assessment will be done. And if they require anything, if they feel any kind of discomfort, doctors are there on the ground to assist them. And then they will be quickly taken to the hospital, the makeshift hospital which has been created.
And Akshit, we are also quite aware that there are a number of medical services on standby at this point in time. Different types of ambulances have also been on standby. You have the BLS ambulances, which is the basic life support. You have the ALS, which is the advanced life support ambulances, and you also have air ambulances standing by. I can see a battery of ambulances on standby. What can you tell us about those visuals? And I can see some personnel also who probably operate these ambulances standing right in front of that tunnel. What have they been told?
Well, yes, there you can see the advanced life support ambulance and the basic life support ambulances. So they have all been stationed, for any kind of uncertainty, and the medical personnel are also over here, because earlier also officials have continuously said that, this is a zone where everything is unpredictable. Nothing is certain over here. So they are actually keeping themselves ready for any kind of situation. So of course, they have made all the arrangements, and when we talk about the medical services, so if there is kind of any kind of severity or serious medical emergency, then they will also be airlifted. And the AIIMS Rishikesh has also been if I just tell you, made ready, equipped with all the facilities, because the operation has now entered its final stage. And a doctor from AIIMS Rishikesh has also said that the rescued workers will be brought here if the medical treatment facilities are not appropriate there at the makeshift hospital, which is in Chinyali Shore. And at AIIMS Rishikesh there are 20 beds in the trauma center and a few ICU beds also. And if the workers are brought there, then they can be given good care. That's what the doctor said. And he has also said that a team of doctors has been constituted to be sent to Uttarkashi also, I beg your pardon, if ordered by the state government. So all checks have already been done. Everything is in place, and the state government also, all the nodal agencies, NDRF, SDRF, ITBP, the engineering regiment of the Indian Army also, they are all on their toes and keeping everything in their mind, so that the 41 stranded workers can be rescued safely and soundly from the tunnel.
All right, Akshat, I'm going to come back to you. Please be on standby. I'm going to come back to you momentarily. Dr. Rao wanted to weigh in response to what Mr. Mithru said. Dr. Rao, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is we in health, in medical sciences, we always say that prevention is better than cure. Now, Mr. Kishan talked about the geological survey, which was not done, which the environmental survey. I had extensively studied the investigations and the advice which was given after a head-on car crash inside the one of the alpine tunnels many years ago, and as to what they found and what they suggested. They found that if you have two-way traffic in the same tunnel, then the chances of such an accident is more. And when these vehicles catch fire and their diesel or petrol starts burning, it very rapidly consumes whatever oxygen is inside the tunnel, and people die of suffocation injuries within seconds. And hence, their advice was that whenever you are, forget it after you're constructed, even during construction of a tunnel, they should have an parallel escape tunnel being dug, and for every certain distance, in vertical tunnels for ventilation, because they found that especially most of these tunnels are in high altitude areas where anyway the oxygen is low. And if the tunnel is a very long tunnel, even if you have mechanical ventilation and the ventilation breaks down, then you will have everyone suffocating inside it. So they suggested vertical tunnels, which can also be used for escape at every certain distance. I forget what was the distance they had advised, plus an escape tunnel. And they had suggested that ideally there should be three parallel tunnels, one for vehicles going each way, and a tunnel in between the two of them for escape. Especially they were not only afraid of such geological shifts, an earthquake or a sudden the geological defect across which you have tunnel, and even water seepage, and if there is a collapse or if there is a fire, both of them can be deadly inside a tunnel. And this is why. So I was a bit surprised that when they were digging this tunnel from both sides, they didn't simultaneously dig a escape tunnel, nor have they been digging vertical tunnels. This is something that is of a surprise. This is what I learned from the investigations and the advice which was given after that alpine tunnel incidents. And I appreciate what Shailendra said. Yes, the psychological effect is the worst. I mentioned it, but I have not given the emphasis that Colonel Shailendra said. People have nightmares for the rest of their life. People have nightmares for the rest of their life. They will have panic attacks. They'll suddenly wake up in the middle of the sleep thinking they are in the middle of a disaster. And this is also with the war veterans. Colonel Shailendra has been a mountaineer and in the army, so he will appreciate this much more. People who have come back from wars have had nightmares for ages. This is a very important factor. I kept repeating psychological, but I didn't emphasize.
That's a good point that you bring in. PTSD is also something, Colonel Singh, that is perhaps applicable to those people who have spent, a long time in these tunnels.
Vineet, you have been an excellent journalist, and I have been interacting with you for last now maybe 7, 8, 9 years. I admire that you are able to face things head on. And today, I'm facing it head on with the two panelists. If these two simple, die-hard Indian panelists know so much that all this was not done, I think it will be criminal for those people who actually allowed it to happen to go scot-free. This is my internal feeling. This is my absolute personal feeling. I mean no offense to anybody, but if both the gentlemen are speaking this, I'm sure there are specialists available in the country with the NHAI, with the state government, NDRF, I don't know what all. I think this is the time we can learn our lesson from this, that make the construction work and all such infrastructure development work with laws are so stringent, with checks and balances, counter checks and counterbalances, that nobody dare take a shortcut. If what Mr. Krishnan is saying, it makes me cry. People have played. This is a near miss. This is not an accident then. This is a near miss. 41 lives would have been lost. If whatever you people are saying, 1% of that is true, then somebody needs to be hanged. I need to be hanged that if I knew this, why I didn't bring it down. I should have made a court case of this. But at the same time, we are right now not evaluating, but we are right now looking at and looking forward how best, whatever is the situation that can be salvaged. And salvaging right now amounts to 41 lives are given back to their families intact. Number two, whatever best medical aid can be given to them, to the needy people, they must get it at a topmost priority immediately. If it is required, call for Air Force. Don't wait for only ambulances. If it is required, I'm trying to say that. And yes, the government needs to do an absolute judicious inquiry, the way we do it in army, that even if there is a cycle accident, we try and find out as to what could have done or what could have been done to avoid such an accident and to take precautions for any future tunneling work. We need.
Right, sir. Sir, appreciate your candor. You're, of course, one of the best minds to speak with and learn from on occasions such as this and many more. We are getting some reactions from the rescue team. Let's listen it.
उन्होंने ये सारी ऑपरेशंस को थ्रू कर दिया है विदाउट एनी हर्डल. कल रात से लेके आज सुबह तक उन्होंने धीरे धीरे बिना कोई जल्दी दिखाए हुए समझदारी से पूरी पाइप पुश करके ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव कर लिया है. ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव कर चुके हैं.
क्या आर पार हो गया है?
आर पार हो चुका है, ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव हो चुका है.
अच्छा, तो क्या रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन का काम शुरू हो चुका है?
रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन का काम चालू हो गया. रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में कम से कम नहीं तो 3 से 4 फेजेस होते हैं. वो पहले एक मॉक ड्रिल होती है. मॉक ड्रिल के बाद में जितना भी आपका अंदर लोग होते हैं, उन अंदर लोगों को मॉक ड्रिल दी जाती है, उनका सिचुएशन देखी जाती है. एनडीआरएफ की टीम अंदर जा चुकी है. उसके बाद में जैसे ही वो अंदर आएंगे, जैसे ही पहला रैम्प बन जाएगा ऊपर तक जाने का, फिर वहाँ से लेके आ जाएंगे उनको बाहर. ठीक है,
एक और कर लेंगे.
Good news coming in that the breakthrough, Mr. Mithru, has been achieved. There are 3-4 stages of the mock drill which are underway at this point in time. They are being very circumspect about it. They are not taking any chances with the rescue operations as well. Obviously, there are going to be some dummy exercises which are going to go back and forth before actual people can be put through this same rescue process. Mr. Mithru, this is good news coming in.
Very good news, sir. Very, very good news.
Right. And sir, in your opinion, how would you respond to what Colonel Singh has also said? You know, he's made some very strong, very important points when it comes to the safety of our workers.
You see, I have given a live example where 100 kilometers was shortened into 6 kilometer stretches of each, just to bypass the rules and regulations. Now, that has been.
तो शाम तक उम्मीद है कि सारे लोग बाहर आ जाने चाहिए.
एनडीआरएफ की टीम दूसरी तरफ पहुंच चुकी है.
एक मॉक ड्रिल तो कर लिया था उन्होंने, तो उसके बाद का इन्फॉर्मेशन मेरे पास नहीं है. हम लोग बाहर आ गए थे क्योंकि अब एनडीआरएफ ने टेक ओवर कर लिया ऑपरेशन. हमारा काम सिर्फ इतना था कि वो पाइप थ्रू एंड थ्रू हो जाए. वो पाइप थ्रू एंड थ्रू हो चुकी है. उसके लिए हम स्टैंड बाय पे थे कि पाइप थ्रू एंड थ्रू ना हो तो हमारे इंजेक्शन मटेरियल्स को ग्राउट करके कंसोलिडेट कर दिया जाए ताकि पाइप थ्रू एंड थ्रू हो जाए. तो अब पाइप थ्रू एंड थ्रू हो चुकी है. 80 मीटर जा चुकी है, आर पार हो गई है पाइप. अब एनडीआरएफ और आर्मी ने ऑपरेशन टेक ओवर कर लिए हैं.
अच्छा, अच्छा, अब कितना लगभग समय लगेगा? आप लोगों की बातचीत हुई होगी अधिकारियों से?
देखिए, अब कोशिश तो यही है कि जितना जल्द से जल्द हो सके उनको बाहर ले आएंगे, वही एम है सबका। तो उम्मीद है कि देखिए शाम तक सारे लोग बाहर आ जाने चाहिए सेफली। सब सेफ है, ये कंफर्मेशन आ गया था, तो लेट्स सी, शाम तक सब कुछ हो जाना चाहिए।
पूरा क्लियर हो चुका है?
रास्ता पूरा क्लियर हो चुका है।
एक बार नाम बता दीजिए अपना।
संभव चावला।
Getting more confirmations there that the pipe has gone through on both the ends. The NDRF has taken over. Now it is up to them to basically get these 41 people out of this infernal situation. Major General Rajan Kochar, defense expert, also joins us on the program. General Kochar, thank you for speaking with us. I hope you can hear me, sir. General Kochar? Okay, there seems to be a problem with this connection. Let me in fact rope in Dr. Rao once again. Dr. Rao, good news coming in. The tunnel is through and through. There are going to be some mock drills which should happen and will happen. They will take a few hours because no chances will be taken, and we are hoping nothing untoward happens when these lives are pulled out of this tunnel. Let's not forget, Dr. Rao, that there are 41 of those. So that means there will be mock drills, and there will be a number of repetitions of those mock drills as well, to make sure that there are no impediments, there is no debris, there is not even a scratch on these people when they are pulled out for those 80 meters.
Vinit, luckily these miners are not obese, so they will be able to squeeze through this tunnel. Secondly, the tunnel is a very long tunnel, and people have to be kept calm while they are brought along that tunnel. They have to be lying totally stiff and still. If they move around, they are going to scrape against the tunnel. The tunnel is just enough to squeeze them through. So they have to be kept calm. They are in an agitated state. And this whole thing has to be very smoothly pulled through. And you are right, there will be repeated mock drills. We do that for earthquakes, we do that for various other disasters, and we even do it, the armed forces will definitely agree with me. I was in Delhi during the 1965 war and the 63 Chinese attack. I was in Delhi, and we have had mock drills to how to jump into the trench and do various other things, and in case there is a bomb explosion, I used to observe what all mock drills used to go on. So this is an essential part of it, and this is the only way we can, dummies will be used. Dummies are also used for car crash testing. So this is how it is to be done, and I am very happy. This is one thing I will tell you. Yes, the precautions were not taken. This accident could have been prevented if all the precautions were taken, and the rescue would have been faster. But I must appreciate the fact that the Chief Minister ran his office for quite a few days sitting at the tunnel rather than sitting in the capital. And all various, there has been coordination, good coordination between the various agencies which were called in and various equipment brought in. And I'm sure the concerned agencies will learn a lesson as to how better coordinated. You remember previously in cyclones, we used to lose a lot of people. But once the whole coordination, the plan, and like was mentioned, that you have to have a plan, you have to have the procedure for it, a standard operating procedure, and the proper coordination, I'm sure things will work out extremely well.
Right. General Rajan Kochar, defense expert, senior defense expert, also with us on the program. General Kochar, very welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sir. We are speaking at a time, at a precipice when this rescue stage is at its almost conclusion. Hopefully, we're just a few minutes or hours away from getting these 41 people out of this tunnel and back into safety. We've been discussing this for quite some time now. we are not focusing on the introspection, we are not focusing on the retrospection, we are focusing on the task at hand. And once again, like always, the army has come into play. They have bailed us out. But the fact of the matter is, I'll allude to what Colonel Singh also said, he's with us on the panel as well, that there needs to be more analyzed focus when we are getting into precarious circumstances which involve national imagery.
You're absolutely right. First of all, I must congratulate everybody who was part of this effort, right from the NDRF and the technology experts and the mining experts were also brought in. And after the army engineers have actually orchestrated this entire thing. And it's this valiant efforts because you see, they never gave up. And before that also, they ensured that some kind of water and the food supplies were actually getting in. And there was also, sunlight inside coming from one side that also actually keeps the people who are inside. And the more important is that communication was also being sent there to them that we are at it, it's a matter of time. And of course, all this introspection and all, we can talk about it later, because right now we have to talk about this moment. And, NDRF, like I have always been stating that we need to have a better kind of earth sensing equipment. Whenever we carry out these kind of operations, we, like the Israelis have got it. So I think it's high time we also invest in these kind of equipment so that we are able to pinpoint the location and we are able to move in. A lot of techniques are available today to tackle tunnels because technology has moved by leaps and bounds. And also one important aspect, Vineet, I want to bring out is that whenever we are constructing tunnels, the research of the soil and the type of material which is being excavated, and once we are bringing the tunnel, the structural design, I would say that would have to be gone into detail, because we cannot afford to have these kind of incidents time and again. And it's a lesson learned. I'm sure the people who have been involved in the entire exercise would have also learned their lesson. And of course, a commendation to our brave, valiant soldiers of the Indian Armed Forces, especially the Corps of Engineers, who actually specialize in this kind of activities, because in times of war also, we'll encounter these kind of situations. Now we have seen the Israel-Hamas war also, the way the tunnel network is also being taken, and it is a very time-consuming process. So the people who must be thinking that why it is taking so much of time, it's a big challenge to you drill holes into these tunnels, because you have to see various factors, and you have to see the composition of the material in which you are actually drilling these holes, because it could cause damage also to the entire thing, and the entire exercise can go, waste. So I would see this as a great opportunity. Unfortunately, these calamities are taking place in Uttarakhand far too often. We had in Joshimath also, if you remember, the shifting soil and all that, and collapse of the buildings and all. And a lot of construction work is also going on in these areas. So I think the government will also have to look into it, that we need not play a merry hell with the nature. Because see, nature teaches a lot of lessons to us. And it's extremely important that we don't disturb the equilibrium of the nature in places like these. And of course, infrastructure improvement is a welcome sign. Building of tunnels is a welcome sign, because it improves connectivity and issues like that. But definitely, Vinit, I think we will have to take a closer look at these things.
All right. Group Captain VN Jha also joins us at this point in time. Group Captain Jha, thank you for speaking with us, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So something similar, well, I would not say something similar, something analogous happened in Chile also in 2010, if you remember. 31 or 34 odd men were stuck in a tunnel for 69 days and 5 kilometers away from the mouth of the tunnel and 2,300 feet deep into the ground. And the area that they had for themselves was only 50 square meters. They were rescued after an ordeal of 69 days. What I'm saying is not that this is possible or this should happen or is it okay for something like this to happen. Perhaps this is something which happens in every nation. This is something which is a cause of concern. Do you feel that even if you take all the precautions, there are terrains, there are mountains, there are regions in our country and in the world, which will give in, which will give way, regardless of how many precautions you take. It is the nature of the earth. It is the nature of stones.
Absolutely. Vineet, 2 years back, I had published a paper called Unstable Himalayas. In this Himalayan, entire range, you can't predict the way what you want to do, it will go through. It is unstable. Most of these areas are in seismic zones, seismic 4, seismic 5, and seism happen every now and then. There are the accidents, there are the incidents, and there are catastrophes which keep on happening onto this. And when tunneling of the road happens through these portions of the Himalayas, obviously there are the uncertainties, there are the exigencies, emergencies, accidents. All these are part of the tunneling system, and this is part and parcel of the risk management, emergencies that every agency will have to cater for. So when the tunneling was going on, this all must have happened. So when we compare that Chile thing with the Indian arena, obviously there are people who would like to compare with this, but these are the two different things. One God's gift here in this case, in our case, was that the moment that collapse of the tunnel happened, people were able to push a pipe through which oxygen went through. The basic of life is oxygen, water, food, and ventilation. That is the basics. So the moment that collapse happened, people were able to push that pipe, 5 inches pipe or so it was. Through that, they could push oxygen for immediate. So immediate security of or survival of the life was ensured. Subsequently, of course, water went through and the food went through, ventilation also started. So the life survival was ensured within those few hours that the collapse had happened. Subsequently, what happened, we all have been seeing it, that two things very specific happened was the people who were trapped inside, they got that psychological security that yes, we are being looked after, our life is ensured, and in another few days, the communication lines were there, they were able to see their near and dear. With that, the mental faculty, the psychological faculty of every laborers was ensured. Of course, there were loops, you can dig holes into the way how everything was approached. But by and large, the government has approached satisfactorily, life was ensured. Today, when that communication was started, when the pipe went through, so immediately, we said that yes, now here it is there. Just about 4-5 hours back, I had just feared that vertical drilling, what is going on, must stop, because sometimes that vertical drill that brings the mud, the water, to an extent that will fill this particular gap where the people were, surviving themselves. So luckily, nothing has happened. That vertical drill has stopped. People are now coming out. I believe most of the people have already been. They have already come out to the tunnel mouth. They have come out of that particular confined space. Things are okay. So I compliment that entire system today. वो कहते हैं ना कि जो अंत भला तो सब भला. What ends well is everything okay.
Well
so
said,
that
sir.
is how it is seeming it here. But there will be, being a scientist, I must tell you, very fact that these girdles in that area has collapsed. That means there is a fault into the entire designing system. The weight bearing capacities of those girdles in that area must have been faulty.
It's a very strong statement you have made, sir. That's a very strong statement that you have made. We would love to, in fact, talk more about it. But right now, I'm going to cut across to my colleague Akshit, who's right at the center of the action. Folks, let me reiterate, these 41 people can be out any minute. The efforts of a multitude of agencies have culminated into this solace for these people, and of course, a huge respite for the entire nation as well. Akshit, what's the latest that you can give us?
Well, yes, the operation now is in its last leg, and the workers can be out anytime soon. Of course, you know, the local residents here also are rejoicing. It's a moment of joy for them. So we will just quickly try to gain in their perspective as to what they are feeling. Sir, आप यहीं से हैं उत्तरकाशी?
जी हाँ, ये लोकल।
तो अब बस किसी भी क्षण जो है बाहर आने वाले हैं, कैसा लग रहा है?
बहुत खुशी हो रही है। 17 दिन से हम लगातार यहाँ पर आते जा रहे थे, इस रेस्क्यू को देख रहे थे, बहुत निराश होते थे, शाम को हमेशा निराशा में रहते थे, लेकिन आज बड़ी सुबह से बड़ी खुशी है जब पॉजिटिव खबरें आई है न्यूज़ चैनलों में। जब हमने देखा कि आज ऑपरेशन सफल होने वाला है तो हम यहाँ आए हैं। मैं चिन्यालीस रोड में रहता हूँ, जहाँ हॉस्पिटल भी बनाया जी, वहाँ कर रहने वाला हूँ, और हम भी यहाँ सुबह से देख रहे हैं और बड़ी खुशी है आज कि हमारे जो 41 भाई मजदूर 17 दिन से फंसे हैं तो आज वो बाहर आ रहे हैं, तो खुशी लग रही है। और भाई साहब, मैं एक बात कहना चाह रहा हूँ, पहाड़ों में ऐसी विकट स्थिति आप देख रहे हैं, पहाड़ों में सड़कें खराब है, लेकिन मोदी जी का धन्यवाद करते हैं हम कि जिन्होंने इतनी अच्छी सड़कें पहाड़ों को दी है। और ये सुरंग भी जो है, अब इस टनल के बनने से हमारा जो है 27 किलोमीटर यमुनोत्री कम होगा। ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है। अब दुर्भाग्य से ये घटना घट गई, थोड़ा सा मनोबल लोगों का गिर गया। देश के लोग बोल रहे हैं कि क्यों पहाड़ों में सुरंग
एजेंसीज इसमें लग गई थी। हाँ, पहाड़ों
में लोग, मैं मीडिया चैनलों पे देख रहा हूँ, लोग देश के लोग बोल रहे हैं कि पहाड़ों में ऐसी सुरंगें क्यों बनाई जा रही है, लेकिन हमारी परिस्थिति को नहीं देख रहे हैं। हम लोग कितना विकट परिस्थिति में इस पहाड़।
पहली प्रायोरिटी यही है कि इनको बाहर निकाल लिया जाए जो बहुत दिनों से फंसे हैं। सर, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, आप बस किसी भी क्षण बाहर आ सकते हैं, कैसा लग रहा है आपको? आपने देखा कितना मुश्किल था
ये बहुत बड़ा मुश्किल था। शायद अगर भगवान भोगनाथ जी की कृपा नहीं होती तो ये असंभव था। और साथ में विज्ञान और भगवान दोनों का चमत्कार है। अगर मोदी जी शायद इस पे नजर नहीं बनाते, धामी जी नजर नहीं बनाते, तो ये असंभव हो सकता था।
So of course, you know, you are hearing out the people over here. This is a moment of joy for them, and you know, many of them, for many of them, it's like a festival. They will be celebrating Diwali today. So of course, it's in the last leg, and we just also want to show you how, you know, they are singing their traditional song. So of course, you know, yeah. So that's what I said, that it's a moment of joy for them. And now we will just quickly try to show you as to what preparations have been made, you know, when the workers actually come out of the tunnel, because a team of NDRF is already outside the tunnel. So you know, that's a very big development, because NDRF team will go inside the tunnel to bring back the 41 stranded workers. And there, of course, you can see, we have shown earlier also that how the 41 ambulances have been stationed over here, you know, just to ensure that these 41 workers, when they come out of the tunnel, they don't feel any kind of discomfort, they don't feel any kind of difficulty. And there you can see a team of you know, medical personnel also, who have been on the ground. They have been on their toes since the rescue operation has started, and of course they will be there to assist the workers as soon as they come out of the tunnel. But the whole country is now, you know, waiting for that one moment, that when will the workers actually step out of the tunnel, because we talked to a lot of family members also of the trapped workers, and they have also said that they are waiting for this moment because they have all been you know, quite worried, impatient. The workers themselves also, because they were stuck inside for almost 17 days now. So everyone is waiting for that moment as to when the workers step outside the tunnel. You know, that will be a moment to capture, because all the agencies, you know, have pulled out stops, pulled out all the stops to make sure that rescue efforts are in place and these workers, are rescued safely and soundly from the tunnel. So yes, a lot of facilities have also been provided to them, and when we talk about the arrangements that have been made. So of course, a makeshift hospital has also been made ready at Chenyali Sor, which is just 30 kilometers away from the Silkyara, from the tunnel rescue site. And then they will be transported directly there, and if the need arises, they will also be airlifted. And of course, at AIIMS Rishikesh also the arrangements have been made so that the workers don't face any kind of difficulty. So that's what all have been placed. And also, a team of doctors has already been constituted in case, emergency arises. They can be sent back from AIIMS Rishikesh to here in Uttarkashi if the state government orders for that. And all the officials also, have created a green corridor so that a seamless transition can take place for the transportation of these workers from one place to another. But yes, of course, this operation is in its last leg, and everyone is, as I said, is waiting for that moment, because this has been one of the most daunting operations which has been carried out in our country, because in a zone like this, which is quite weak, which is quite sheer, there are other certain risks also involved in this. Sir, if we can just so yes, we'll just try to speak to some officials also over here, who are present over here, and gain their perspective as to what they feel about it. So of course, all the arrangements have been made, as we said, and you see this road. So this road has also been repaired because it was earlier uneven, but now for the seamless transition of the workers, it has been repaired. And if I just tell you about the rat hole mining process also, because that's what has been so far, successful in carrying out the operation, in drilling through the debris, of course the muck which was standing like a wall between the workers and the entrance of the tunnel. So that has of course been cleared out, and the pipe laying procedure has also been completed. CM Dhami himself took stock of the situation, and even General VK Singh also took of the stock of the situation as to what is actually happening on the ground. And if I may also tell you that prayers are also being offered by all the officials also, and of course the top level of ministers also, and even the local residents, so that these workers are rescued safely and soundly from the tunnel, because if you just have a look at the whole zone, then it perhaps looks like it's a weak zone. That's what we have learnt, and to carry out an operation of this scale, of this severity, where the 41 workers are stranded inside the collapsed portion of this tunnel, then of course it's a very daunting task. But all the officials from the day one have been on ground zero, have been on their toes to make sure that these workers are rescued properly. And of course there, you can see a team of medical personnel. As I said earlier also, there are ambulances also, the advanced life support ambulance and the basic life support ambulance. So there, of course, you can see a lot of officials also on the ground, just to make sure that the 41 workers don't face any kind of difficulty when they step out of the tunnel.
Appreciate you giving us all those details. As we can see, the activity, the commotion growing at this point in time at the Silkyara end of this tunnel. Let me in fact also rope in our guest. Major General Anuj Mathur, defense expert, is joining us on the program as well. Colonel Shailendra Singh, senior defense expert, is also with us on the show. Dr. PSV Rao, consultant surgeon, Manipal Hospital, has been with us throughout. Group Captain VN Jha, defense expert, also with us on the show. Last but not the least, Major General Rajan Kochar, defense expert, is also on this esteemed panel. General Mathur, so we are still to hear from you on your thoughts about what's happening at this tunnel. Obviously, like I've been saying time and again, that the learnings, the introspection, the biopsy of this accident can be done later. But this is a learning, and this is obviously a learning for the long term.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You said it very rightly. The issue is we need to understand one thing very, very clear, that if the effort, and it's absolutely synergized, and it is done with some kind of military precision, you would find results of this kind coming up. Firstly, I would take this opportunity to congratulate everyone involved in this entire operation, because this has been done with an amazing expertise, and it has been done without having caused any harm to the trapped workers inside. Now, having said that, I would also tell you that there is a need for us to understand why such kind of things do happen, to take place in our country, and what can be done as in anticipation, in preparation to tackle such kind of situations. The point is the system of equipping the NDRF battalions. You see, you have to anticipate, you have to appreciate the kind of a place you're likely to be employed, and then the equipment profile of that team, which is there to do this kind of a rescue, should match up to the latest technological things available in the thing. The point is that this could have ended up in a disaster, but it has been handled well. It has been supervised very, very well. The same CM himself, General V.K. Singh, and all those people who've been getting after the teams, rescue teams, and making them work in a synergized manner. So I think it has, all in all, it has been done exceedingly well. But let us hope, let us wait for them to actually come out of there, and let us see what their physical condition, what their medical condition is, and we will be able to see how we can later, as you said, later on we can go in for whatever introspection that we need to do. Yeah.
Colonel Singh, I would like to take your attention to a very important point that was made by Group Captain V.N. Jha as well, about the girders and how certain standards need to be met where safety is concerned. How would you respond to that?
Vineet, this is a very tricky question, and it is a never-ending question. There cannot be a fixed answer for it in one go. It cannot, you will have to progress this, you have to be dynamic as what the situations keep coming, as what you keep advancing. Today you are doing a tunneling work, tomorrow you might do a undersea work, things like that will continue. But there has to be a culture, there has to be a blood in it, that yes, we will do a thing honestly. We will do it correctly. We will do it most competitively. We will be having the supreme value given to the man doing it for his life. It needs to be done that way. However, maybe with Vineet we can do this again. But today is a time that let us start rejoicing the successful tunneling operation which has been done, and just wait for another few minutes, maybe hour or whatever, for these 41 lives to get united with you and me. I think that needs to be discussed more today, because if I start getting into the technicalities of what are the challenges and why they were not met, or whatever was discussed by Mr. Krishnan, if those are horrendous things, horrifying things, if at all they are true. I hope like hell that people who are absolutely being good critics, that what went wrong and why it went wrong, hope like hell today, right now let us stop it for ourselves, because there will be too much of disappointment if those kinds of shortcuts were actually taken. It is not crime, it is horrendous crime, it is inhumanity if whatever was said has been done on ground. So let us right now concentrate, pray, and have the belief that all these people who have worked for this tunneling work is just beyond imagination. It is not only worth appreciating, it is worth worshipping that you have been successfully doing it. In fact, I'm prepared to even say, I don't take the whole credit for the Bengal sappers only. The work has been done by them at the end of it. the rat, mining workers who are there. Each and everyone needs to be, given his due. And it's a joint collective effort which has worked well for us, including those 3 boys who are sitting up there next to the tunnel and praying to the God in a very, very different way. Vineet.
All right. Dr. Rao, what did you make of, the important facet that Group Captain V.N. Jha brought about? It's not only about experience, it's also about learning from others. We've been very successful in terms of our camaraderie with a number of countries who call themselves developed and, barely have such accidents. But the fact of the matter is that these good practices need to be implemented because, such incidents do have the propensity to bring down governments.
Yes, Vineet, there are been accidents in various parts of the world, especially because many of these tunnels are through in high altitude, and some of them may be in seismic zones. Many of these mountain ranges are in seismic zones because they have been created by the Himalayas is a prime example of it. The Andes is another example of it. Alpine mountain ranges may be more stable, but the various other countries have had their accidents. We have not really thought about it very much in the past because many of them have had escape tunnels simultaneously built. They have had vertical tunnels built for ventilation simultaneous with their construction of the highways. And like I said earlier, after head-on collisions and fire inside the tunnel killing large number of people, that aspect of tunnels also has been looked into. So if we had, there is some reason why a surgical strike is, we surgeons get the benefit of the armed forces calling it a surgical strike. Once you are operating on a patient, you have cut open the patient and an unexpected situation arises. I as a surgeon can't say that spare parts are not available. I have opened up your vehicle and then I will, once the spare parts come, then I will repair your vehicle. Once I have cut open a patient, I have to have already planned what are all the unlikely events, how will I manage it, and have all the facilities. Secondly, sometimes you may not have all the facilities that you would dream of, but you'll have to manage with what you have. And you have to get the patient out of that situation that you have got into. Same way, in a surgical strike, when they go across the border to do something, they have to be prepared for all eventualities. And they can't, in the middle of a surgical strike, say that, oh, this is not available, that is needed, this is needed. Same way, you are tunneling through a very well-known seismic range where actually in recent times there have been a series of earthquakes all the way from Afghanistan to Nepal. You know that things can happen anytime. Group Captain Dr. Jha said about the steel girder. Now, when you decide what girder you are going to put, or any civil engineer worth his salt will say that he has to decide as to what is the maximum load or stress that will come on a civil structure that he is building. So, if this was inadequate, if their calculations were inadequate, then only this a sudden landslide or a load coming on it would have caused that steel girder to collapse. We know that the steel girder has collapsed because the auger machine went and got stuck in the steel girder. So it means that you didn't adequately decide the load factor on it. And when there are rains or very seepage, water is very heavy. I know it because I am an avid horticulturist. If you have watered a plant, you will find that that pot will be really heavy because every empty space inside that soil will be filled with water. So the load factor should also take into consideration if there is heavy rains, there is soakage, the soil which you have calculated. If you have calculated for dry soil and not for wet soil, then you will have a collapse. Or if there is a landslide from higher altitude and it comes drags down to a different part where it settles down, you can have. Plus, remember, these areas can be snow. There is snowing there in the winter, and snow can also add to the load on that. So we don't know. I agree with Group Captain Dr. Jha saying if the girder has collapsed, it obviously means overload. I didn't comment on this as a surgeon. People may not appreciate my commenting on civil engineering or other things, but this is a fact. And these factors have to be also taken into consideration. It means that there has been some underestimation of the load factor on the civil structure there, because these people have got stuck in a part of the tunnel which has already been constructed, cemented, concreted, everything done. It is not that where they were digging that the collapse occurred behind them.
All right.
So,
let me also welcome some more esteemed panelists who are joining us to share their thoughts on what they feel about what's happened here. Obviously, it is a national issue and a national problem, and one that has caught everyone's attention and concern. Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, former diplomat, also with us on the program. General Sudhakar ji, defense expert, joins us on the program as well. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, defense expert, here with us. Group Captain V.N. Jha, defense expert. Major General Anuj Mathur, defense expert. General Rajan Kochar, Colonel Shailendra Singh, senior defense expert, and Dr. Rao, consultant surgeon, Manipal Hospital, also with us on the program. Ambassador Goyal, well, this is not Gaza, this is not Israel, this is not about the trivialities or the sensibilities or the sensitivities of international affairs and external matters. This is something which is related to our country. This is something which obviously evokes a sense of concern as patriots. What has been your assessment of this entire situation? Perhaps not as a diplomat, sir, but as an Indian who's concerned for the lives of 41 people who are merely doing their job.
Vinny, thank you very much. I'm not here as a diplomat, as you rightly said. I'm here as an Indian. I'm here as a person who has been watching this entire thing for the last more than 2 weeks. And something that the first news when it came today that finally we have been able to reach those 41 miners inside. And it's any moment that it should be coming out, the doctors are there. I'm watching the images on the television. It's a sense of great relief. It's a sense of great relief at having been able to save 41 lives. 41 lives. This is not a small number. It's a huge number of people who were doing their job, who were caught there. It's not the time to do any kind of recriminations as to what happened, how it happened. Every rescue operation will have so many imponderables. We have seen those imponderables in this operation. I am a physicist. When we did experiments in the physics lab, we knew there were so many things which could go wrong, and we didn't know what could go wrong, and mostly they went right. So every rescue operation is an operation which has its own risks. Every rescue operation is an operation where we are keeping our fingers crossed every moment, because we do not know. I mean, the thing goes well, the thing is successful only after they have all come out and we have them. I mean, I can imagine the relations who have been taken there to meet these people who are stuck inside. It's not Gaza, right? You said it. We are not talking about Gaza. We are not talking about, those are international issues. But the fact is that everything, even Gaza, is about humanity. And this is about humanity. That is number one, the sense of rejoice, the sense of relief that we have been able to do it, and I think a sense of pride. Because internationally, there had begun to be a doubt on our ability that we can do it. And we have proven that yes, we can do it, and we can do it. I mean, even though technology and everything is important. But ultimately, it is the human skill which counts. And therefore, I am proud, really. I'm proud. I have this relief. I'm happy. I can't describe this mix of feelings. But ultimately, I would only say kudos to our team, which is doing the job. Kudos to our people who have managed all this despite all the difficulties they faced. Just kudos, and bravo.
Absolutely, sir. I appreciate the spirit. I appreciate your good wishes as well. Wing Commander Sudhakaran is also with us. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, if you can hear me. I know that Wing Commander Sudhakaran, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, you've had some strong opinions and feelings about what's happened here. We've spoken about this in the past as well. But today the situation is a little different. Would you reckon that we are very close to a breakthrough? I gave an example of something similar that happened in Chile in 2010. Those men were stuck there for 69 days, and it was an American company who was at fault for them getting stuck. And they were stuck 5 kilometers away from the entrance of the tunnel. It was 2,400 feet deep. The area that they have to spend and live for over a couple of months was about 50 square meters. What goes through your mind today when we are almost at the precipice of getting these brave hearts out?
Thank you, Vineet. While you said that I had pretty strong opinions, my opinions were never about the commitment that we have undertaken to ensure that the mission is successful. Today, when I am almost expecting all the 41 guys to walk out alive, healthy, and then kicking, that is a moment of joy for me. When you said that I had pretty strong objections, it was about the
don't take that to heart, sir. Don't take that to heart, sir. That's a compliment.
No, I know that, but then I'll have to clarify myself. So what I'm trying to tell you is
just answer my question.
Yeah, it was about the lack of professionalism, the lack of, how did they not do risk forecasting and risk mitigation? That was the limited point that I was placing there, right? Having said that, I will also like to place on record, because this government has left no stones unturned after this incident has happened. Remember the Bhopal gas tragedy? The culprit was escorted by flight to fly away from this country by none less than the left and the right, the generals of the Prime Minister himself. That is the checkered history that India has. And when politicians shed crocodile tears, I would ask them to go and revisit the history. It's election time, probably nice time to pay them back.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.